Right. It's getting ready. Think we're there. Great. All right. Thanks everybody for joining another episode of the OpenJS Foundation's Cross Project Council. Today is September 2nd, 2025, and we'll get stuff started. Where'd my note doc go? Here we are. See if I can paste this. I can. Great. Excellent. So folks can add their name to the agenda and help take notes. That would be great. How about we start with announcements?
JSConf, really would love to see you there. Sponsor if you can. I know for the past month or so, Kylie's been posting about hotels being almost full. Well, the hotel is full Thursday night. There is a little bit of space, but we're taking over the whole hotel. But the event team has listed some alternative places to stay nearby. So if you're going, please get your ticket. I know we've had some discounts floating around too. If you're unsure of those, hit me up. And if you're actually speaking at the event, we have a few rooms held aside so you can kind of hit me up, but we have just a few. Yeah, Claudio. I can't hear you.
I'm muted. On a very similar note, I was able to talk finally with the HubSpot team, and I think I was able to secure them for next year for JSConf.
Oh, good.
Oh.
If we have a JSConf next year, we'll see how it goes.
Oh no, I'm too late.
We all love it, but yeah, we need those sponsorships to come through and ticket sales to come through. So fingers and toes crossed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Any other announcements?
Yes. Just a quick plug for JavaScript Landia nominations, which are now open. There's a link to the form in the agenda, and we'll distribute that link via other means. Also, nominations are open from September 2nd to September 19th.
Cool.
Yeah,
Great.
kind of. Kylie also posted in LinkedIn, the social channels, what else? Slack everywhere. So
Great.
mhm.
Fun. All right, cool. What about board meeting stuff? So our next meeting is do we have a meeting in September?
That is to be determined. The idea is we're going to meet in JSConf face to face.
Yeah, okay.
Scheduling is a little difficult for like a one-off in September, so that's what we're driving toward.
Okay.
Okay.
What did we decide about the last board deck? Did we ever present that or anything? I feel like we got something ready and then I don't think we ever
I
presented
think
it.
we had a low attendance that day, or we ran out of time. We do have a big issue list, but
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, we should get into a good routine about that. So we'll work on that. Okay, anything, we got the staff updates labels here. Waiting on legal info has a few issues here. I don't know if there's any updates on any of these. I'll drop the link in. Is it better if I share my screen? We kind of don't really do that, but I could if that'd be better.
Yes, I think that would be better.
Okay, let me share my screen. Where is my button? There is the big one. It is desktop 2, please. Thank you. Make sure. Yeah. All right, great. So, can you see my screen? Assume that you can. Let me move this over here so I can see your faces too. Anything on this list that
Yeah, so I have the information all collected and sort of documented from our data protection officer who is at the Linux Foundation, who supports our foundation as well. I just need to go through because there's so many different privacy related ones and see if I can just link back. I just want to make sure I'm capturing all the questions because there's so many crossover open issues. but I'll get that done in the next couple of days.
Great.
Mhm.
Excellent. Oh, and this thing's gonna be right in my way. Can I move this? Is that movable? It is. Great. Thank you. Okay. Sorry. Screen sharing. So that's that one. This is this one. This Dev Connect program.
Yeah, no update. I gave feedback to GitHub, so.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. And then I think this one's empty. Yeah. All right, great. So now we can get into the agenda. So this first one is audit GitHub org owners. Jordan, you open this up. We've got a little bit of conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing, there's like a few levels of response to this issue, I guess. The first is anyone who's on that list that isn't like an active CPC member or a regular member should be removed from that list. That's number one. Number two is then, should we define a smaller definition or a definition that results in a smaller list? And I would say certainly we should restrict it to active CPC member, like someone who's attended a meeting in the last 6 months or something. I don't know. It doesn't have to be very strict. That'll probably prune it down like significantly. And then there's some proposals in there to tighten it even further, which we could do as well. I think just OpenJS staff is probably too restrictive because there's really no like collateral damage that is the unfixable collateral damage that like can happen by somebody having too much permissions on the OpenJS Foundation org. So like if it was the enterprise, that's a different story. But like on this org, like someone can deface something and we'll just fix it. So like I don't think we need to be that paranoid about it. Like we don't need to be all principle of least privilege or whatever. But just in general, it was like we should check and make sure that we're reasonably up to date on the list.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so someone just has to take the time, I think, to identify who would be removed from the list based on some of those tiers. And that can be me if I find the time, and it can be anyone else if they want to beat me to it. But yeah, but as I said, I don't think it's super urgent. It's just something we shouldn't ignore.
Yeah.
What does that document say that's linked to there? I've- Um,
Cool, CPC members. So, but like, is there a difference between CPC members and regular members? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Like there should be probably, but there hasn't been in practice. And so like that's why I was saying maybe we should restrict it only to CPC members, which is in like in practice is actually a subset of regular members in the sense that it's like active versus not. But like then we have to define that. But even just restricting it to the list of people on the README and making sure that's still up to date is still a start.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to take a slightly stronger approach than Jordan, and because I do think principle of least privilege is good to use basically everywhere all the time. We don't need to have a very strict interpretation of that. I agree with Jordan there. But like, there's no reason that CPC members need to have ownership permission on the org. I mean, you could have, Ben, Robin, maybe some other staff, I guess, and then, some folks that if you're not like tasked with doing ownership like things, if you're not delegated those things to do, there's no reason for you to have that. So like for example, like Jordan has is the GitHub administrator for TC39, so he has ownership permission on TC39.
Sure.
That makes perfect sense because that's a delegation of authority that has been granted by the committee. And similarly here, so like I see no reason why, just generally speaking, CPC members should have ownership on the orgs. This seems like a weird.
Yeah, I think prior to the moderation and code of conduct stuff being resolved, like it was just so anyone could moderate at any time if needed.
I see.
When that was or is fully resolved, because question mark on that, then I agree with you. There's really no reason for somebody like there's no general reason for all of us to be owners. We should have specific reasons. Totally fair. But I also do think like there's no software in this org. There's nothing, nobody can do anything in this org that will like do anything except like look bad and need fixing. So it's like I'm just not in a hurry personally to do it. If this were a software project, I would be doing what you suggest, Chris, like with urgency. But like, we'll get to it.
Okay. I don't know if we want to like make a decision on that at all, or just let it happen in the issue here and work itself out as we go, or what we all want to do. I would say maybe Ben, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it would be, I mean, we have kind of a small group today, so, but I mean, I do think it would be good for us to collectively make a decision. We don't have to do that now. We could have some more async chatter here, but I think ultimately we should decide it during this meeting, like what we want to do moving forward. And I agree with Jordan, it's not like super urgent that this is dealt with. I am also less concerned with like the status quo and being in a hurry to remove people than I am, granting new people arbitrarily like permissions. But that's clearly not what we want to do here, so it's not an issue. Robin?
Yeah, I don't think we're in a big hurry. I do like having focus on how we limit. I just don't like us saying that a non-code repo is less important than a code repo. So did I say that right? Yeah.
Yeah. I guess important wasn't really the connotation I wanted. It's more that like if somebody does something in a software repo, like or any, it doesn't even have to be code, but just anything where there can be automatically propagated damage, that is more urgent than something where like where it's effectively a typo that can be reverted, right? Because the damage here won't propagate other than in a like social and PR sense. So it's like it's important for that sense for sure. Like we don't want anyone
I think about legal
or legal,
or
totally.
reputation, things like that. So those are all sort
100%.
of critical issues. I mean, I get it.
I agree.
I mean, I get
Yeah,
it. I just, yeah.
yeah. That's why I filed the issue because it's important. It's just like we don't need to drop everything and do it, but we need to get it done.
Yeah. Okay.
Welcome, Toby. All right, so we'll
Thanks, folks.
We'll let this linger and keep coming back to it and make progress. Cool. Next one up is this one. Express changes logo. What do we got here?
This was like a trademark thing.
Yeah.
And
We
I
got
think
we got the legal email. We're just still working on, we don't have the express trademark, but working on that. So
Okay.
Is that still with IBM?
it's in, yes. Well, I don't think IBM trademarked it as well, but we just don't have all of the documentation to finish it. So we're working on that, but it's in progress.
Okay, and then what do we need to do? Oh, sorry, I didn't raise my hand. Ulysses, go ahead. I'll go after you.
Mhm,
Continue, Wes, because my thing was a separate one.
mhm.
Okay. What do we need to do before we start, acting on these changes? Should we be waiting for that legal stuff to get sorted or?
No, we have a number of trademarks that we've used. I'd have to take a look. It's not, you didn't vary the new trademark from the existing, if I recall. Do you want to share what
Good
that looks like?
question.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I don't have any links of, does anybody else from the Express side have the links for that stuff handy? Because I would have to go look. I'm on my work computer and I don't have that stuff up. We can probably circle back. We don't need to spend too much.
Let's do that.
Anyway.
No, there's some Some like of our brands are so common that it's hard for us to trademark things. I think we decided that I won't call those out specifically. So we don't have the marks trademarked. Well, I will. So AMP, the lightning bolt, that was going to be impossible to trademark. So we didn't do that. So again, it just sort of depends on how much you varied it. But if you've been using it in a kind of a common law kind of way, that's totally okay, as long as it doesn't look drastically different from what you've been using for many years.
Okay.
Ulysses?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that we didn't yet change the logo, so you still have the opportunity to vote and provide feedback. So there are like several options there. So passing the link for those who want to vote and provide feedback.
Toby?
So sort of a very meta point here. Do we need to keep this open? This feels like a sort of like not a CPC issue.
Correct. It's not a CPC issue.
Okay.
Mhm.
I will take the label off, but will someone maybe comment on the issue, just the what we talked about a little bit today, and yeah. All right,
Yeah, I'll do that.
great. Next up is Dojo. Dylan opened this a couple weeks ago.
This very much boils down to whether Dojo should move to at-large or complete. And I think that's a decision for Dylan to think about and make the call on.
Isn't complete still within the at-large, or it's a subcategory, correct? It's not really it's either emeritus or it's at-large, but a sub category.
So we sort of like, yeah, thank you. We sort of like changed that to have like active, complete, and archived, and didn't really and removed emeritus.
Mhm.
And they were sort of like expressing these different states. And I mean, personally, and from a security perspective, I think that we should normalize projects going to complete because it's a statement that says a bunch of like things about where the project is at that I think is valuable to from a transparency perspective to share, right? Which is, this is kind of like a closed thing now. And we'll continue maintaining it, and it's going to be, continue being secure for a long time. But don't expect like new things happening. And I think it's an important statement. And so my question to Dylan was more of if you haven't picked this, is it because you feel like Dojo isn't like, is like more at large than like complete? Or is it because there's, taint was the status or the name, and it's hard for people to actually go down that road or like make that statement? And if so, I think we should talk about it more and normalize it as much as we can.
Yeah, agreed.
Then we should probably reach out to all of our at-large projects, just like I did with Dojo, to see if they want to, or if they're in the right place to move to complete. I agree. And if Dylan sort of wants to be the trailblazer there, that would be great. And he's probably open to that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, he seems to be, his comment here seems to make sense that he would be okay with that. So,
mhm.
Yeah.
And then we'll need to redo our website and, all of our things, all of our content things to reflect the new categories.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Moving on. Minimal security.md template. Guessing this came out of the security working group. I don't know if Ulysses, anyone has
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, Rafa was not able to join the meeting because he has some internet connections, so I can help with this. So they basically have this proposal just to give you context. The idea is to find a good agreement on what we should have in the security MD file in terms of what is expected. So as one of the biggest changes, and I think this is not yet included in any of the security policies, except the one for Sling that they accept already the changes, the reference to the CNA in terms of escalation when the maintainers doesn't reply or when you want to escalate the situation. So we try to clarify that as well in this security MD. So the idea when we land this basic template is try to go to all the projects within the foundation and try to update their security MD to meet these requirements. If I recall correctly, it was like an open discussion, I think, driven by Toby about the option of just having this generic template in the CPC repo, and the project can just point in their security MD files to or linking to these files. So basically, it will be there. And there was be some discussion in the security collab space, if I recall correctly, about why might not be the best option in terms of projects to have their own ownership in terms of making changes and stuff and be aware of their own security. Also, some scanners, for example, on the OSF scorecard and stuff like that, if you don't have like some keywords within the security MD, they don't consider it as valid because it's a like machine readable thing, and there are other concerns around why that might not be working or not. But anyway, we can provide the option to the. I'm not against of providing the option to the project and say like this is the a foundation security policy template we attach and we follow this one, right? But I expect like some projects also to have the option to send them the reports by mail, because some projects work that way because they managed that before the GitHub advisory was a feature. So yeah, basically there are like a few things that make it hard to. Oh, I see the comment from Chris now. Yeah, basically, yeah.
Toby?
Yeah, that's super helpful. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a good sense of like what works and what doesn't. My main concern was that that we don't get sort of like drift between projects, and that it makes it easy for projects to or also for reporters to escalate to the right path, and not sort of like end up in a situation like we some have to some degree with code of conduct where like things are not like all in sync and up to date. Um, it seems that like that's harder and more difficult to do here because of like external constraints. And so I guess we should probably move with that solution, but I'd be interested to see if we can um, uh, I don't know, maybe have conversations with like scanners or whoever's forcing us into that corner to see if like there would be better options.
That's a fair point, Toby. Yeah, there is actually, well, this is not public because it's part of the command center, but I think you can all access to it. As part of the Alpha Omega effort, we built a small tool that actually is tracking the security MD files or the alias for that file and so on at door level and so on for all the projects. So basically, we are aware in terms of hashes if the content has changed, so we can have the option to be aware of these changes and just verify that they are not going with an alignment on the policy or stuff like that. So basically, we have a small tool in place for tracking this. So that might be a good option in the future to prevent projects from being like really building policies that are not super aligned.
Sounds good. I mean, if folks are happy with this solution, and it seems like the only reasonable one, I think we should go with it.
Okay, great. I encourage folks to take a look at the PR and help us move it forward. Ulysses?
Yeah, it will be nice if we can merge this PR like kind of soon so we can unblock other pieces of work for the Alpha Omega. So sounds good if we try to merge these by the end of this week with at least we have some blocking comments or some pending actions. But yeah, I would like to have some good review from the people here, especially from Chris and Jordan. So
Great.
thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, moving on. This is something we talked about at our last working session. We have a number of these like sort of related issues. Robin, you want to chime in?
Yeah, that's what I talked about in the board updates that Ben and I met with our data protection officer, the Linux Foundation. And I can summarize again, I've got it documented, but we have so many open issues that I'm trying to make sure I hit all of them.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, we have documented privacy policy, we have a documented code of conduct policy. Everyone, whether you're staff or volunteer at our organization, is required to follow those. Sharing information is how the Code of Conduct Committee makes responsible decisions. And so doing so is sort of expected as part of the process. And not sharing information could actually become a code of conduct violation in and of itself. So.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, and I shared all of the issues with Sharon, the data protection officer, and we had a good. So I've tried to sort of summarize it in one, and what I'll probably do is just kind of link back to others.
Okay.
So,
Perfect.
Yep, Toby.
Yeah, I'm just curious on like concrete next steps here, because we probably want to summarize, I mean, see what part of like this conversation can be summarized either in the policy, in the code of conduct policy, or somewhere, so that it feels like, the questions are addressed, right?
Yeah, I think there was a question like, should we do an FAQ? But because that would I mean, there's already so much sort of legal and community input into, our privacy policy, our code of conduct, that just creates a whole nother body of content for folks to, analyze and react to when we already have these policies in place and people sort of make their best good faith effort to
Yeah,
follow.
fair point.
Yeah. So, and I think it's pretty well documented, our policies. So I think we're in a good space. So I'll just try to make sure I answer all of those issues.
All right, cool. And then once you've done that, we'll see how we can move forward with them. All right, sounds great. Thank you.
Cool. Yep.
Cool. All right, next on the agenda here is project website footers, which I clicked into. That's just some of the work that we need to do, like batch work. So I'm going to kind of skip over that one. This is more about what we were just talking about, record keeping and that stuff, and GDPR. So I will jump down to the AI collab space.
Yeah, that's me. That's where I have a draft ready. Maybe I'll run that by you, Joe, and we can just get that up.
I'd be happy to take a look.
Pretty lightweight at our first stab, and then we'll look at dates.
Sounds good. I don't know where we are on this one. Is AI assisted development allowed? I know we've talked about this. This is a long conversation.
I believe that would be a great topic for the AI collab space too, to be honest. Ben?
Yes, and I will say that we had an interesting issue pop up related to the CLA that is relevant to this discussion. So it's something that we have like a real world example of where we'll have some questions about how things should operate. And I think we have an okay solution, but I do think that we probably need to look at that issue in the context of the overall conversation and probably have some specific documentation about what you need to do if you are using AI to help you write code and wish to contribute that code to an open source project, such as the OpenJS.
Beyond what's in the LF policy?
Yeah, there's some tactical things like, what do you do with a CLA?
Okay. So what's the plan here?
Well, it sounds like the plan is that there's going to be an AI collab space and that this will be one of the first things that they are tasked with discussing.
All right, wonderful, perfect. I wasn't sure if you implied that like the discussion that you were, that case could be raised in the collab space, or if like this was discussed somewhere else.
I
So
think
if that's the case, that's great.
Yeah, the issue I'm discussing should be an input into that working group's discussion.
Awesome.
Great. All right, moving on. This is the Geoda onboarding charter. I don't know what we have a PR here last month. I don't know if anybody is it's merged. What do we oh, we got to publish the charter on the website or GitHub. Okay, so this needs a PR to add to, okay. All right, anybody wants to jump in and help move that forward, that'd be great. This we kind of talked about briefly with the previous issue. Do we have anything on this third-party services documentation issue here? This has been around for a bit. Toby, last comment from July 8th CPC call. Still a few comments on resolve, still needs more reviews. No action since then. Anybody got anything on this?
So,
If I recall correctly, oh, sorry. If I recall
please go ahead,
correctly-
Claudio.
Yeah, I looked into the PR last week, and if I recall correctly, just it's pending updates from the author. That's it.
Okay, pending updates. Okay.
But
Right, but if
worth to nudge the author that we're waiting for them.
Well, is the author
but if this
Rudd?
waiting, yeah, that's where I was going, right? If like this is waiting on Rudd, I think Rudd's contract is finished. And so the question is, like who's going to take over that work? And from an operational perspective, like, is this still going to be leveraged internally?
Yeah, all good points. I think we need to take this up in our next security working group meeting and decide how we want to proceed with this one. You're right that Rudd is no longer contracting, but we still have a team working on this, so we just need to pick up this work.
Okay.
So action item would be on like the security. Okay, the security ICU list is going like thumbs up. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Great.
Can I just add just generally a reminder that whenever you bring on a new partner, we love to bring them on as strategic partners where we document the free services we get and the marketing they get in return. We met with a new partner from the Node project last week, and oh my God, they're such a super awesome company, and we're just delighted to bring them on and use their logo and blog and everything. So for all you maintainers, yeah, let's make sure we document things. So if we have revolving doors at the partners, that those free services remain. And of course, all of the other administrative stuff is buttoned up too.
Yeah. Okay, great. I feel like we touched on this one and this one, so I'm going to jump over to this one. I'm not sure where this one is. Sorry, I'm going to scroll to the bottom because I feel like there's been a lot. 2 weeks ago, all comments addressed now. Thank you, everyone. So if folks, I think, can jump back into here and just re-review, help this to get done, that would be great. Anybody have any comments or thoughts on this one that we need to talk about?
I thought 2 weeks ago you said let's just give it 2 more weeks. So I think we're at okay, we've had all the feedback and if there's no objections,
Okay.
call it.
Chris, was there something that you were concerned about here? Or this was kind of non-blocking?
Hmm.
So I looked at this over the weekend, and I'm sorry to interrupt, Chris, but I think all of your suggestions were approved by Nathan, but then weren't like actually baked in. And so I think we were kind of like waiting on the suggestions to be baked in before approving the final thing.
I think
Yeah,
that's
well,
accurate.
like it hasn't been resolved, right? So, and I guess the
Yeah.
question here, and other folks can chime in. I mean, but the issue was that they had this language in there that like, oh, you need this many people to like, um, to like remove someone or whatever else. Forget the two different things they mentioned in there. I think it's either add or remove or something. And if you don't have if you're not stipulating the size of the group, then that really breaks down if the group is too small. So I think like you could do something where you have like a ratio, like a, 2/3 or whatever, simple majority, like whatever length, but something's gotta give.
Yeah.
Yeah, just quick side note. This felt like a common issue that we have with charters, where people copy charters of like really large projects for much smaller ones,
Right.
and then have a bunch of things in there that just make it like really awkward and complicated when you're like 3 people or 5 people, right? And I'm wondering if we shouldn't like do a bit of work on making the default example chart that we have, that template, beefing it up a little bit so that it's easier for projects to just adopt pretty much as is, rather than like reinvent things every time. It might be easier for everyone.
Yeah. I like that. Okay. Is there a response for Nathan here that might kind of move him forward too, or any suggestions here on this bid, and then maybe that'll nudge them along.
I mean, I think it's just on him to do it. So, like, there's no additional information he needs, I think, unless maybe answering that
Well, he's
question.
asking for like min max or something like this for like,
Yeah, like how does Node resolve this issue, right? Like,
Yeah.
but I mean, again, like I think Node is like 25 people.
Yeah.
Like this is like 5. Like
Yeah.
the very different.
I mean, it's going to be much safer for them and future proof if they just designate like something that's not specifying actual numbers. So whether that's like a super majority or a simple majority or something like that, that's going to be a lot better than trying to say a number of people, because let's say they have 20, 5 out of 20 to make a change is different than if the size is 10 people, 5 out of 10. Those are very different thresholds.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think we should encourage them to change this to something that will work like and scale both up and down.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you, I know you kind of said that, Chris, already in this comment here, but I wonder if there's anything that you could reiterate that would help him move forward, or even just change do a what do you call it, a suggested edit.
Yeah, I can respond to.
Okay, thank you, Chris. All right, cool. Moving on. This COC covenant, I think we've decided on that. I mean, I know we have there when we were met at the working session last week, I was looking at I'm going to just kind of jump around here because it's related. This code of conduct plan of action here. And there's really kind of two things here that already have issues. So I feel like we can probably close this master issue, but it's basically the work here that Kate is working on, and then the move to the contributor covenant. So I'm all for closing this one, and then it's related to the other two here. Toby?
Yeah, the move to V3, I put a block on it because I felt like there were some requirements in there that could interfere with sharing information.
Okay.
And we haven't discussed this.
Okay.
So the idea was, let's wait until we have the feedback that we just got.
You're on mute somehow, Toby. You're muted.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I fat fingered the thing. There are requirements that consent is required for any kind of information sharing. And I think that conflicts with some of what we were just talking before.
Yeah, okay. What do we think is the best path forward then for that sort of situation?
Robin has her hand up.
I'll take that specifically. I had shared that V3 with our data protection officer. She didn't see any problems, but I'll reiterate that with her. There's also a community call, actually Ben's a part of that, on September 12th for adopters of V3. So I'll be participating. Ben will be helping to lead that with the contributor covenant team. So
Great.
any kind of other outstanding questions or implementation details, we can get feedback.
Great. Yeah, and this has the waiting on legal info label. So yeah, if you could get back to us on that, that'd be great. Toby?
Yeah, I can't make that call on the 12th, but it would be great if someone could ask specifically both to like a private, our the LF's privacy officer and during that conversation, like the specifics of this. And this is really like, I can't remember what the language says, but it says that it requires consent for any kind of information sharing, something of that nature. I can't remember the exact way. If you all think it's good, then we should just like move on.
No, I mean, I think what you're raising makes sense, and we should definitely clarify with.
Well, I mean, Ben has a much better sense of like the whole doc and has spent a lot more time on there, and I'm just seeing him going like, I don't think this is an issue. So I'm like, if I raised this as, ooh, this looks a little weird, right? Like a little concerning given the context. If people are like, no, it's a good, like I don't want to, we can just go ahead and move it. Like I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, I think, so I did write a lot of this or contribute a lot to this new version of contributor. So yes, I can speak to this. I think the clause that you're referring to, if you scroll up, is around violating confidentiality, I think. And the intent there was around public disclosure, not really around someone submitting a code of conduct report that includes personal information without consent. So maybe we could do a little better job.
Could you just like find, is it this one?
Yeah, I think that's what you were referring to, but correct me if I'm wrong.
No, probably. It was a while ago.
Yeah. I think that's what you're getting at. And yeah, I think this is more around publicly disclosing private information or using people's private information in some way without their consent. This is not about doing or reporting a code of conduct violation and including like the person who possibly did the violation. So maybe it's a wording clarification that we can suggest. But as this is written, I don't see this preventing us from handling COC requests in the way that we've done previously.
I mean, I understand, right? And I totally get it. But given it would be silly to have this misinterpreted on a regular basis when we do require information sharing.
Yeah, I think clarifying this is important. So like I'm not discounting the interpretation of this. I'm just clarifying the intent.
Yeah,
and if the intent isn't
cool.
clear,
I mean, that's helpful.
Yeah, and it's not.
I also didn't know how involved you were.
It's not just information sharing. If someone does something harms you, you're not going to say, "Hey, person, do you mind if I report you to the code of conduct team? Can I have your permission?" So that's, so maybe it's the permission word is, yeah.
I absolutely agree. But then also I'd rather not spend like sessions
Yes,
rediscussing like specific wording of this, just like making sure that it is clear.
More words is more surface area, to debate.
I think it would be useful. And because honestly, like I saw it and I was just like, oh, that looks like rather sort of like a little bit excessive in how it's framed and could be a problem.
Yeah, I get that.
because I didn't have the context of like that you had actually been involved, etc. So I read it that way.
Yeah, the intent here is not that you aren't able to discuss private information with the right folks. It's that you don't blast it across the internet publicly on Twitter.
Okay.
Thanks.
We'll work to get this clarified a little bit. Is that the plan? Okay.
Yeah, we'll bring this up in the call that we have, I think this week, and yeah, we'll see what we can do.
Okay, great.
I think the call's the 12th, so it's not this week, but next.
Or the 12th.
Do we move forward regardless, or should we just like block until like you release a 3.1 of this? Or what's your suggestion here?
I think that we can wait because I think we should figure out what are the steps that we need to do to implement this, to accept it as ours, and then kind of move forward on that. And so
All right.
maybe have a little bit of time. Which I think is maybe we're kind of pretty much out of the agenda. I think these we all kind of touched on already. So I will ask what we want to work on next week, and potentially code of conduct implementation. Adoption is one thing. Anybody else have any thoughts or things?
I can't make next week,
Okay.
so I don't care what you do. No, actually, something horrible. Let me figure out what you all should work on.
Yeah.
Do finalize the code of conduct stuff. I think that's a great idea, Joe. I absolutely approve of this choice.
Okay, good. I really do want to kind of wrap all of these lingering things up, so it'll be great.
Now, what can we assign Toby to work on in our
exactly.
session next week? That's the agenda.
Particularly adopting COC. Okay. All right. We got 6 minutes left. Is there anything we want to fill that time with, or should we call it a wrap?
No private session? I'm sorry, I missed the beginning.
Yep, no private session.
Awesome.
Yep. So cool. I'll give you back a few minutes, y'all. Appreciate your time. Bye.
Oh.
Bye, folks.
Stop sharing. Now stop streaming.